All right, what's up, you fine folks? Welcome back to more Take the Initiative Top Cut here. We're live with Philaffle versus Hippo. Hippo, of course, winning last season with the Han deck. This time he's running a mean green aggro Sabine list. I quite like the name of that. It's a red green Sabine, not unlike the list we've seen before, but it does have some notable inclusions, including two Millennium Falcons, which of course are cunning, not fitting in that green red strategy really. But it'd be interesting to see why he brings this along. It's going to follow a lot of the same tenets that we've seen in the past with Sabine. Of course, she's got the best space units in the game right now with Red 3, Green Squadron, and Alliance X-Wing really pulling together quite a lot of damage there. And then, of course, with the green side, you can bring in Ewing reinforcements for that late game. You can bring in steadfast battalions to get rid of leaders and to deal overwhelm damage. So a lot of good little tricks. And of course, Battlefield Marine is a solid 3/3 for 2. So great turn 1 play, getting that early damage on. And real fast, we'll go on to Phil's list here. It's not the first time we've seen a Luke Green list, but I do like it. Um, so in this one, it's definitely more Destiny Riku was playing the Luke Green last time, and this list is definitely more Force user focused from what I've seen, and I think it could definitely prove a challenge here for Hippo. So we'll see what it comes down to at the end of the day. Of course, this is able to heal quite a bit. So if he's able to stabilize his board, get rid of some of the units that Hippo puts down, I think he can definitely turn this around in his favor. So I'll be excited to see how that turns out. Players are getting ready here. I think we're all ready to go. Let me just double check and just make sure. Um, and yeah, we should be underway here. Right. First game of the season that I'm able to stream. We did see two games get reported already. So we have a yellow Palpatine in the top 8, and then Lincoln on it here. Let's double check. Where was it? Okay, yeah. So Voltaire passed through, and then it was uh, Nuke, or sorry, Eroth, not Canuck. Let's see here. So either not the yellow Palpatine, yellow Sabine, will go through there. And then for the other game, it was Boba Green. So both Palpatines getting knocked out first round. That's my bad. I misread that. All right, so let's see what our players are doing here. Luke will start with the initiative here, winning the coin toss, and first unit will be a Battlefield Marine, and we'll see Hippo do the exact same thing. Luke will take initiative, and we'll get some pings going here. Strong start for both players. Okay. Bill will go first here, so he has the opportunity to trade those Marines. He's going to take it. Sorry, guys, just trying to get this camera set up. There we go. So to respond to that, Hippo will just ping the bases for 1. Then we'll see a restored arc coming out here for Phil, and an Echo based defender for Sabine. I think so. Phil has an interesting choice. He can either take initiative, which it looks like he's going to do, or he could have given a shield to that arc. I think taking the initiative is quite good, especially if he has something to stop that Echo Base from hitting his base. We could see a Dodonna come down here, I guess, to create out like an Echo Base. I think that's the only way he can really stop the defender from coming in. But he'll go with the Arc to deal 2 and heal 1. So we'll see Dodonna come down, which of course, would enable him to push that extra damage through. But now if we see an Echo Base, that could put some hindrance on his plan. Looks like we will. So he's got to. I think he has to trade here for the Echo Base defenders, just so that Luke can't put down a shield on it. And Phil will end up just taking the initiative here. Sabine will do another ping, and then deploy, dealing an additional 4 damage to the base. Using Dodonna, of course. Yeah, that Dodonna is going to put in a lot of work here potentially. We could see a Steadfast Battalion come down and defeat really anything that Phil can put on the ground. Mainly just the Kanan and Jarrus, or an R2D2. And even if he doesn't do that, he can play a Fleet Lieutenant this turn or anything really like that, just for some extra damage. He's definitely got his punches available. It'd be interesting to see if that arc attacks early again. Then Red 3 could potentially come down, which would, of course, give a bonus damage to each of these attacks coming in this turn. But he can't do like Red 3 and Fleet Lieutenant. So maybe Steadfast is the best option. Just depends on what Phil plays. I think if we do see a Kanan Jarrus here, yeah, that could really be a disaster for Phil, because Steadfast just comes down and defeats that before he can put a shield on it. And that's exactly what we're going to see here from Hipo. Strong play, and that will deal an additional 2 damage to the base. And of course, that Steadfast Battalion is still alive, which creates some extra issues. Dodonna will swing, putting him up to 11 damage already. And we'll see an R2D2 come down. I think Sabine doesn't have to attack here. I think you can attack with Steadfast first action next turn, and it generates more damage, really. I'm not sure how Hipo sees it, but I think taking initiative here is actually the best move, considering Steadfast can attack the base for 7 damage, which, he would be killed by R2D2. So I think Hipo makes the right call there. And he actually pulls a Rebel Assault as well. Not the best card in the world, but it will allow him to get a lot of damage through extremely quickly here. So, or sorry, not even 7 with Steadfast. Oh yeah, 7 with Steadfast because he doesn't trigger on Dodonna. Okay, so yeah, that would be 9 damage with Heroic, and he gets to draw a card. Could be worthwhile. It's not going to heroic. Just going straight in. That'll be 7, putting him up to 18 damage on the base. So make an opening. While it doesn't instantly kill the Steadfast Battalion, we could still see Phil play that. And of course, Steadfast would die at the end of the round. Also, the R2D to attack will do the same thing. Not a bad choice there, and he gets to do a little bit of top deck searching. Red 3 will deploy, and unfortunately, nothing Phil has can take it out in one hit. So we'll definitely see its ability used here. And I think we're setting up for make an opening. That makes a ton of sense. But that raid 1 will still be used for this attack with the Fleet Lieutenant, I think. Yep. And so Donna will go 7 at the base. Big attacks here. And Red 3 is forced to be killed here, which of course means that Hippo can just take the initiative and guarantee his win. Oh no, he's still 1 shy, isn't he? No, he's got it with... Yeah, I think Heroic... He should have taken the initiative there to Heroic Sacrifice, guarantee the win. But really, it doesn't matter. I think he's just too far ahead at this point. But Phil could potentially draw a whatchamacallit? Defender. But he's going to deploy Luke instead. Sentinel, that's what I meant. So Luke can kill Dodonna here and restore 2. And Fleet Lieutenant, and Steadfast will die at the end of the round. But I don't think that's enough. And there's the Rebel Assault to finish things off. Personally, I think keeping that Rebel Assault would have been quite important last round, but he manages to draw it again here, and that will definitely seal the deal. So both those attacks going in, and we're on to round 2. Let's go ahead and take a look at these deck lists again. Here is Hippos. So on the sideboard, we do see 2 Mandalorian, Mandalorian Fang Fighters and 2 Wolves. Both of those could be good inclusions here. They do decrease your For a Cause I Believe In ability. It's, your percentage is less high. So it could be quite good into all this restore. But honestly, I think he can just run the standard list here. Maybe take out 2 of those Falcons for 2 Wolves and be just fine. And for Phil here, I think it's definitely a lot more important. This rides, the whole tournament right here. And I think the Sparks are quite weak into this matchup. And I think some of these late game cards, like 3 home ones, is a little bit too slow. He does have a lot of upgrades as well, which slow things down. And he doesn't have any takedowns or anything like that to instantly remove the board, as we've seen in other Luke Green decks. So yeah, it's to me it's more interesting. I'm not sure it's the top deck I would have brought for Luke, but I definitely understand where he's coming from on it. Either way, he's got to make some choices here about the cards he brings in. Seems like he was quite worried about the control matchup. He's got basically an entire control sideboard from what I'm seeing. We did see Hippo change out some cards. I'm not sure what he decided on. All right. Hippo leading this series 1-0. And for game two, Luke will start again as the first player. It looks like he did bring in those wolves. Not a bad starting hand for Phil either. Putting down two Lukes is questionable. I'm not sure that's the best in the world. Honestly, I might have gone for a mulligan there, even though he has a pretty nice early game setup. He's got so many 1 and 2 drops that I think he could afford a mulligan and keep those Lukes in the deck. But they are resources now. We'll start off again with the Restored Arc. And we will see Hippo. I think he's going to go with that Green Squadron A-Wing. That makes a ton of sense to me. And we'll do one to each base. So he brought in both the Wolf and the Disabling Fang Fighters. For what he took out. And Phil here with the Fleet Lieutenant to kill off that A-Wing, taking only 1 damage and healing his base. Quite a solid play. Phil taking the initiative. And Hippo here, he's got an interesting couple options here. He can go for the Spec Force to have an additional ground unit. And he can, of course, ping with Sabine. I think the ping is guaranteed, but going for the Spec Force is kind of questionable. Going into a Luke Green. Oh, he disconnected players. So, yeah, we'll wait for him to rejoin here, and then we'll decide what he's doing. But Phil definitely has a stronger board position this time. If he can keep off, some of these cards like Wolf, and really just take control of the whole board, keep the damage off for as long as possible, and get Luke out there. I think he's gonna have a solid chance at winning this second game. He was able to uh, counter Hippo's opening play here, both games with the same arena. Hippo wasn't going for the arena dodge by having both a ground and a space unit to play. He could have done Spec Force this time or Wolf, but I guess he wanted the space. Honestly, I thought that was pretty good too. If you can deal 3 damage, also been a solid play. All right, our guy Hippo here, he's back. He's got the Spec Force down, and then he's going to ping the bases for one. And we are on to round three. Now, Phil doesn't have a ton of ground sentinels um, in his deck from what I've seen. Let me just double check that, make sure I'm the right things. Yeah, he's got Obi-Wan, which of course is so late game, and then he's got the Echo Base Defenders. So he's got five total, three Echo Base and two Obi-Wans. But Obi-Wan's coming out so late, it doesn't really help him that much. The Echo Base is definitely a Sentinel that he wants to bring out if possible. But in this case, at least, he can attack with the Fleet Lieutenant to defeat either the Spec Force or Wolf. Honestly, I think defeating the Spec Force is better because it's a 2-2, which will allow him to do a 2-for-1 with that Fleet Lieutenant. But killing Wolf as well is solid to and turn on the heal basically, which he will do. And then we'll see Dodonna come out here, making that Spec Force a 3-3. And Phil will go with the Yoda. Phil's going for the ping. And then we'll see a shield come out here on Yoda to allow him to take out Dodonna in 2 attacks. I think that is maybe what he's going for. And Arc will heal 1 and deal 2. Sabine deploys, and Phil ends up with the initiative. 4 more to base. Now K2SO I think is a very strong play. You can do the Fang Fighter to take off Yoda's shield. That could be good. Of course, since Phil has the initiative, it's probably going to be gone anyway. So I think K2SO is probably the best play here. Of course, with using the ECL for ambush to get some extra damage on the base potentially, or to at least defeat a unit. Yoda is going to attack Dodonna, removing a shield. Dodonna will deal 4 to the base. See a Battlefield Marine come down. Yeah, I definitely like K2SO now. So, Hippo, that's what he's going to do. And he will defeat the Yoda. And deal an extra to the base using Overwhelm and Dodonna's +1. And slowly here, we're seeing Battlefield kind of shift away from Phil's favor. Yeah, interesting play here. I think I like Wing Leader better than Fleet Lieutenant. So having the Fleet Lieutenant deal an extra 2 to the base is not going to matter really in the grand scheme of things. Phil cannot outrace the Sabine, and this is mostly knowing your matchup. I think the Wing Leader giving a +2/+2 to the Battlefield Marine would have been much better in this situation. To make that a 5/5, it could take out anything on the board. But in this case, he's going to essentially try to race a extremely fast list, which is not the best play in the world. 2 4-cause I believe in hand basically guarantees 7 damage for see. Well, Hippo actually might have a little bit of a different math here. It guarantees him 100% 8 damage. So, no, because he does have the disabling Fang Fighters and Wolf. So it's slightly less than 100%. I think it's like a 95 or something for 8 damage. Um, Definitely 7, though. So I think Marine here has to go for that Dodonna. That makes a lot of sense. That essentially just saved him 7 damage. And then A2 gonna hit for 4 more. And Lieutenant will take care of that Spec Force soldier. Deploying Luke then. A2 is unkillable right now. It's too close to kill. And Hippo will reveal 3 damage. Definitely going to get rid of that wolf, but keep the other 3 on top. Oh, he's not? Maybe he's not going to go for a cause here. I'm not sure. Wait, that makes like no sense. He should have kept all 3 on top because that's all he needs to win. Yeah, bit of a mistake there. Since it forces the restored arc to attack. If he doesn't attack with a restored arc this action, that will definitely be a mistake, especially if he doesn't draw into heroic units. He only really has 1 disabling Fang Fighter potentially, and then potentially 1 Wolf, I believe. I've seen both Wolves. So yeah, just 1 disabling Fang. So he definitely should still deal 3 damage here. But yeah, it's always good to stack your bets. I'm not sure what Bill is looking at here in terms of cards to play. He's just going to go for initiative here, and that will seal the deal. Um, Taking it down 2-0 here, and that's Hippo, our current champion in the most prestigious league. Whew, he barely pulls it out there. I forgot about the steadfast, but that is 3, and that will seal it. Yeah, unfortunately, there's the U-wing he needed. But yeah, it's just you can't be trying to race against the Sabine deck so so fast.